Welcome to Functionally Fit Friends, Ethan.
Sure.
We're so
Thanks.
stoked that you're with us.
Very excited.
I've been at Ethan's gym for for sure a year, like a year and a half-ish maybe. And tell us how CrossFit Wash Park was founded.
So it's been around. This is our 10th year. In April, we will have our 10-year anniversary. So prior to that, about 12 years ago, when my kids were pretty little, so let me back up a little bit. So formerly I was a college baseball player and spent about 10 years after college just going to like 24-hour fitness types of places, not really knowing what I was doing, just sort of doing the same stuff I had done in college in the 90s, which was a lot different than strength and conditioning currently. And so about 12 years ago, we were at a wedding with some college friends of ours. And like I said, my kids were like infants basically. And we're at this beach wedding, and this friend of ours who we hadn't seen in a couple months and so forth, is just out on the beach with a set of rings doing what are muscle ups, but we didn't know what they were at the time. And we're like, whatever Jen is doing is unbelievable. And it turns out she was a very high level athlete. She was a regionals athlete back in that time frame, but that just means that she was super advanced basically. And so basically from there, I just came back from that trip and was like, well, whatever I'm doing is not working the way whatever she's doing is working. So this was way before there was a lot of affiliates, and CrossFit Main Site was sort of the primary resource you would get down there. And they had all these videos that you could sort of teach yourself movements and stuff. And so with my kids being little, I just sort of, I had initially tried to do some of the stuff in the gym that I was going to, and that was not that easy, as you guys know how CrossFit works. And in a regular gym, that can be not the easiest setting. Plus I didn't really know what I was doing. I was sort of just like learning from YouTube videos and stuff. So got some stuff from my garage, which was back then way different than it is now. You were like picking it up at garage sales, and no one knew what like a spinning barbell was or anything. So we just collected some equipment, and I would just go out there at night at like, my kids would go to bed and I'd go out there at like 9 o'clock at night and try to follow sort of main site programming and there was 3 days on, 1 day off, and 3 days on and 1 day off. And so it was sort of it was a little bit like the Wild West of CrossFit. Like I said, there was a few affiliates around, but like plenty of people were just doing it by themselves in their garage. And so that was probably like 2010, like the end of 2010. And then by 2011, I was sort of like eyeballing making a career change, but I was formerly a high school teacher, and then spent about 10 years doing like Department of Defense contracting. I have a math background. And so I worked in an office and wasn't like thrilled. I didn't find it super like satisfying or rewarding, but so I wasn't quite sure what I was going to do there, if I was going to make a career shift. And my wife, Christina, was home with the kids, but ready to go back to work also. And so we were just sort of in a time of transition. So I'm out there at night training in my garage, and all of a sudden I'm just a lot. I could start to do things I didn't think I could do before. And sort of couldn't believe that this was, I was like sort of mind blown that I was doing all this stuff at 24 Hour Fitness and not really getting any fitter for like 10 years. And then in just a handful of months was just seeing lots of progress, just picking it up as I went, basically. So I asked we had some friends in the neighborhood that were at Wash Park, like hence the name, who were other new parents short on time to train, like, hey, come over to my garage. Probably I'd been doing it like close to a year at that point, just by myself. And I was like, come on over and like see this thing that I do. It's crazy. They were all the same, like went to 24-hour fitness type of places like Globo gyms, and walked in as I was sort of finishing, and they're like, I'm like gasping on the floor and so forth. And they're like, what is happening here? This is not what you typically see in what we were all used to, And so I got one of my neighbors, a good friend of ours, to sort of do do a workout. And then another dad came, and then they were like, oh, come every Saturday. And then and meanwhile, the whole time I'm just following sort of like 3 on 1 off, 3 on 1 off. And so they would sort of pop in with me. And then slightly before that, I had went and got a level 1 just to like learn. Like I said, I wasn't in a CrossFit gym. So I got a level 1 just to see, like, to learn. And also like, maybe this is something I would start coaching with or whatever, but it was very preliminary. So I got that in May of 2011 and started having sort of friends over to our garage in like the fall of 2011. And so then it was like, even my wife, Christina, wasn't in yet. It was just me and a couple dads that would like do this. And they all lived in walking distance. So they would like walk over at 6 a.m. and like work out and then go to work and so forth. And so at some point we had my wife, Christina, and the two guys' wives came, and it's like January in Wash Park. And so our garage is unheated and it's freezing cold. And we have all this like ghetto equipment, and we're in my garage, and we have like this propane heater that is really loud and stuff. And these ladies just want to do it all the time. Right. And so they're like, this is awesome. They've also been sort of doing regular workouts at different places. And so then I'm sort of like running like a class for these moms that I know. Right. And they're doing it like Mondays and Wednesdays and Fridays or something like that. And so then I was like, just in my head, okay, maybe there is a thing that this could be a business, right? CrossFit is still pretty unknown at this point. It's been around for a while, but it's not super popular. But it's freezing in my garage, and I have these moms who are willing to like come over in the dead of winter and work out with this ghetto equipment and stuff. So it sort of just like spitballed from there, and we applied to become an affiliate in the spring of 2012. I'm still coaching all of that crew in my house. There's probably like 6-8 neighbors at this point coming pretty regularly. So we become an affiliate in April of 2012. And then we just open it up to the public. Like, we are an actual business, but we're just running out of my garage. Probably some legality there, whether I was supposed to be doing that in a neighborhood or whatever. But so we were like on Craigslist, and we were on the affiliate map for CrossFit. But again, like a garage, there's all the other gyms, not many around, but they're in commercial or locations and so forth. And so this was all like on Craigslist and word of mouth. We got a handful of people to come, basically, like, which in hindsight is sort of crazy. Like, these strangers would just come up the alley to my house. And so
to throw weights around.
Yeah, to throw weights around. And we used like a Google spreadsheet to sign up for classes, because slowly it was a 3-car garage, but it like started in 1-car spot, and we slowly expanded the whole thing into the 3-car garage. We could fit 6 people. So we had this Google sign up where like 6 people at a time would sign up for class. And I'm like coaching a morning class. I'm working all day at my office job, and then I'm coming home and coaching like 2 classes a night in my house. But they're basically, half of them are people we knew previously, and half of them are just strangers that we met. But there's no like bathroom. They're like in my house. And there's like, come in, like, to the bathroom, like, watch out for my toddler over there. Half the time we go in, and our kids would be like eating ice cream and stuff. Like, we wouldn't know what was happening inside. And so then it's been like, it's April 2012 when that starts. And by August, like, neighbors are starting to be like, what is going on here? Like, a lot of people coming around. It's loud, like barbells dropping in the morning and the evening. Like, what's going on? And we're like, we're doing our best. We promise. We're getting out of here as soon as possible. And so August 2012, we got our first commercial space, and that was like 2,000 square feet. It's now a bridal shop, and on Broadway, if you know where Blue is.
Oh, yeah.
We spent 3 years there. And so then since then, it's just been like, we've grown commercial locations over that time, and we've been in our current spot for like 5 years. And that's basically the story of it.
That's a really great story. I'm most amazed that, like, what were the qualifications just for having an affiliate, just that you had taken the level 1?
Yep. So you get a level 1. It's a relatively low barrier to entry, but like in reality, it's a higher barrier to entry than a lot of fitness things. Like, because you do have to get certified by HQ, and there's an application process to become an affiliate, and they have to accept you and so forth. And you write like it's like a college application. It's funny. You write like an essay being like, this is why I want to be an affiliate. I probably have it somewhere. Like, yeah. And
did you have to take a picture of your garage?
Nope.
Good.
Especially back then, like, it was really the Wild West. Like, garage affiliates were not uncommon because people were doing it like we were, right? We were in a garage, and some people, I'm sure, were just doing it. They just wanted to have basically the sort of like reputation that they got some certification and stuff. And so we were formally turning it into a business, but there was back then, there were garage gyms that were like, they had no intention of being anything but a garage. And they weren't even necessarily looking to get like athletes to come train there. They were just like happy to have it with their neighbors and never grow more than like 5 or 6 people. And so it's crazy now thinking about it. Like, I can't imagine that it would be very easy for a garage affiliate be able to grow very well now because the sort of stakes have changed so much.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's how it was back then. It was a little wild. And we were, as far as I know, the only garage affiliate in the Denver area for a while. And it was technically 4 months before we were into a commercial space.
Wow. How many members are currently at CrossFit Wash Park?
So we have about 220 currently, like a little over 200. And it, like in our garage, we left the garage with like 20. And there's one besides my wife and I, like there's one who still trains there, Brian Webb, which is pretty neat. He's been there. His first day at CrossFit Wash Park was the day we became an affiliate. So every year on our birthdays, awesome. So
very cool.
Have someone who's been there for the entire 10 years.
Yeah.